Hey y'all, I am back. What's going on? It is Jamie, that's me here. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about a really devastating story. It's involving a father and a son. Okay. This is like really crazy. I heard about this a few days ago and wanted to make sure that we talked about it over here on the channel because I really want to get you guys' thoughts about it, right? This story is about a father and son, Ryan and Rodney Hinton. Okay. From what I'm understanding, Rodney is currently in jail, all right, with no bond because he made the decision to unalive a deputy. Okay. And in his opinion, I'm sure that was him getting revenge for the death of his son. All right. Yes, I said the death of his son because unfortunately his son, Ryan Hinton, was killed just 24 hours, okay, before his father took matters into his own hands and unalived a sheriff, okay? They're saying that, from what I'm learning, and we are going to get into
Several suspects in
sorry, a news story. We'll get into that in just a second. But what they're saying is that the son and I believe two friends or maybe family members, but two others were approached about a stolen vehicle, from my understanding. And I guess the son was running away from the officer. Officer decided to fire shots, and it resulted in the death of Rodney's son, Ryan. Okay. Unfortunately, as I said, Ryan did pass away from the incident involving that officer. I believe one of the individuals, we'll get into the news story because I'm not sure what happened to two. I think they were still looking for one. They may have gotten both of them in custody. Okay, yes. It looks like both of the other guys are in custody, but unfortunately, his son did pass away. We don't know the true details about the stolen vehicle, whether they had anything to do with it, whether the police officer was investigating the wrong individuals or if they had the right individuals. Not sure of all of the particulars surrounding the case, but they're saying once the father got wind of it, maybe even seeing some footage of things, it resulted in him unaliving the deputy. Now, I'm not sure if this deputy is the same deputy that unalived his son. Okay. I was hearing that at first, but that is not clear. Okay, that is not clear. But I want to hear you guys, thoughts about the matter at hand. But for now, I want us to kind of get into a little bit of what took place involving his son, and then we'll get into press conference and other things involving Rodney and his retaliation, okay, for the death of his son. So let's check this out.
custody and one of them is dead.
But officers are still searching for an additional person. This after police went to investigate a stolen car. WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak joining us from East Price Hill this morning. Danielle, what are police saying happened?
Yeah, Kelly, as you mentioned, we now know that Cincinnati police shot and killed one person. 3 other people did take off running. 2 of those have been caught. 1 other person is still on the run. But take a look at this video as I explain what Chief Thigi told us this afternoon. She says this all started as a call for a stolen vehicle. Officers were originally called to the condominiums at 2500 Warsaw Avenue. At the complex, 4 people ran from a stolen car, and police say at least 1 person had a gun. At some point, an officer shot the person who was armed. He died. Thigi did go on to say that a gun, in fact, was recovered in that area. 3 other suspects ran off and took officers on a chase throughout East Price Hill. Multiple streets were shut down, and it was very hectic at times. Officers found 2 of the suspects. 1, once again, is still on the run. Chief Thigi went into details about the search.
They were apprehended further away from the apartment complex. It was a lengthy pursuit, a lengthy canine track and drone operation. So they were quite a ways away from the apartment complex. So yeah, but they were apprehended.
No, I did ask Chief Thigi about the ages of the 4 people that were all involved. They're working on getting us that answer, and they're also working on getting us a description of the person that is still on the loose. I do want to stress here, it's still very early on into this investigation. We'll be sure to update you throughout the course of it. Reporting live in East Price Hill, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
Okay, a lot of information obviously is still to come out here. Danielle will be on it, leading the way for us. Danielle, thank you so much.
All right, you guys. So that is what's being said. And, I will be honest and say this. I feel like I would just need additional details, right? Because I do understand, a lot of times the news is only repeating what's being told to them by the officers. So my question is, I understand that the young man had a gun, but then at the same time, did he point it or fire it at anyone? If he's running away from the scene, should he have been shot? Unless he assaulted somebody or was, it was a shootout or something, between the two. So I do have questions about that. And then also with it being a call of him stealing, or it was a call about a stolen vehicle. They're saying that once they got there, the guys start running from the stolen vehicle. And my question is, was the stolen vehicle actually found there on the scene? Were they actually running from that stolen vehicle? And then again, the question is still, did they have anything to do with the stolen vehicle? Right? These are questions that I do not have the answer to, that I would, like to know. Okay, I would like to get further information on that, to know. And yeah, I see absolutely nothing wrong with asking those questions, considering the fact that should the family or anyone got an attorney, they would ask those same questions, I'm sure. So I would want to know if they were all actually connected, because sometimes a group of guys, primarily black, they may see officers, and because of the history with the officers, I literally just saw a video the other day where these black guys were pulled over, and one of the guys was recording the officer like this, like he was recording what was happening back there, and literally an officer took drugs and tossed it in the back of his car. And so the guy was like, I just saw what you did. And the officer said, what are you talking about? He was like, I'm recording you, as the officer now is about to put his gloves on after you literally just threw the drugs in a boy's car. And he said, I'm recording you. And the officer said, well, I'm recording you. And it's like, sir, I hope they handle you accordingly. And so the boy put the camera back there to show that the officer threw drugs in his back seat in an effort to try to catch them up on drugs. And that's not something that's not uncommon. That's stuff that we've heard about before. So all in all, based on the history and things with, the police and, black boys or whatever the case is, it could be that they were running because they were guilty, or they could have been running because they were fearful, didn't know how this was going to go. And I'm just going to get the hell out of Dodge. Okay. So it could be one or the other. They very well could have had something to do with, the crime, all right, which is why the police were called, or not, who knows. Okay, that's why I would like to get further details on that. But aside from that, that is what took place. Okay, that is something that happened. Once this ended up happening, of course, Ryan's family did start a GoFundMe for about 10,000. They have reached very close to their goal, about 73%. They're asking that everyone please help with help the family support Ryan Hinton. He was killed by Cincinnati police on May 1st, 2025. They are seeking justice for Ryan in the form of legal representation and proper memorial for his life. All right. So I don't know if they would cremate him or something, but then also use the remaining funds to go towards legal representation to come against the officers. Because I mean, a lot of times when I hear that a suspect is running, I, in my opinion, don't always feel that deadly force is needed to be used, right? But then also that's where I would need further details of what may have or may not have taken place. If they were running in a certain direction, could you not have called for patrol cars to kind of catch them or block somebody off? These are the directions that I saw them running in, whatever, right? But I don't know. I don't know if there was a strike. I don't know if this young man was shooting back. And honestly, I don't even know if the baby really had a gun. I don't know. They're saying that he had one on him. But did he use it? I don't know. And then they're also saying that it was one that was found in the area. And then now, I'm sure his attorney will have to actually see if that links to him actually. So it could be a lot. He could have been a very bad kid potentially, right? Or he could have been a good kid. I don't know, but these are just questions that I have. So the dad was extremely devastated, once he learned about the passing of his son, that he decided to take matters into his own hands. Okay, he took matters into his own hands, and it appears that he went and killed. Okay, went and killed one of their deputies. Like, you got mine, it's giving eye for an eye. So now I'm coming on y'all, and I'm about to take one of y'all. You want to take my son? I'm gonna take y'all. So let's check out what this press conference here has to say. Okay. Hopefully it's loud enough. Okay.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us here this evening. gathered to give you an update on an incident that you're aware of, I'm sure, happened earlier this afternoon, approximately 1 p.m. We had an auto accident at Martin Luther King, Burnett Woods Drive, where a Hamilton County deputy was struck. He was outside his vehicle conducting traffic enforcement. He was struck by a vehicle. It saddens me tremendously to make you aware that he has since passed. I think what is significant for people to know about this accident is the officer was just out doing his job, directing traffic up near the University of Cincinnati for what was supposed to be a glorious day for many. What is significant also to know about this auto accident, as you know, we had a critical incident yesterday in the city of Cincinnati, an officer-involved shooting at approximately 9 a.m. yesterday morning. There is a connection between these two incidents. The driver of today's vehicle that struck a deputy has a family relationship with the 18-year-old that we shot yesterday. So that is currently under investigation by both our homicide unit as well as the traffic unit.
I think that young man also that was an 18-year-old, I think he had just turned 17 like a few weeks back, you know. And I'm gonna listen to more of what she said, but I will say that this whole situation is just very sad, especially in my opinion, if this officer had nothing to do with the death of that man's son. That is insane.
Traffic unit and homicide are jointly investigating the traffic accident. Again, it saddens me to report out that we lost a law enforcement officer in the city today, in this county. My heart goes out to his family, to the Hamilton County deputies and the sheriff and her leadership team standing here with me today, and to all the members of their organization. And with that, I'm gonna let the sheriff say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. It is a very sad day, and it's a very sad occasion, and the very first thing I want to do is offer my condolences to the family and friends of our deputy. The men and women, the men and women that you see here behind me, all knew our deputy, and he was so well liked and so well known. We could fill this building with the law enforcement agencies that respect him, love him, his friends, his family. We are so deeply saddened. I want to thank the Cincinnati Police Department, Chief Thigi, her men and women. As I understand it, one of the first people to reach our deputy and render aid was a Cincinnati police officer. And he worked and did his best for our deputy, and we will forever be bonded for that effort. I want to thank the community for paying attention and supporting us. We need support. Please support us. Please support our deputy, who I can tell you, I knew the man, and I knew what a tremendous, tremendous person he is, and what a tremendous loss we have all suffered. Cincinnati Police Department is in charge of this investigation. Therefore, they are the lead agency. They will answer any and all questions regarding any investigation surrounding the death of our deputy. And I just can't express to you how sad, how incredibly sad we all are, and what an incredibly wonderful and dedicated deputy this man was. So thank you very much.
In keeping with the establishment of Marcy's Law, we are not going to be releasing the deputy's name at this time, but I will take a few questions.
Chief, given the relationship to yesterday's shooting, is this the investigation being treated as a homicide investigation?
Right now it is still under investigation to determine exactly what it is, but since the homicide unit was the lead on yesterday's incident, they are involved in a joint effort with the traffic unit on today's incident.
And is there any description of how the vehicle entered the intersection or anything along those lines that can be released at this time?
Yeah, not at this time. Too preliminary at this time. Too early.
We heard that the deputy was recently retired. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Our deputy had just retired just a few months ago and continued on in service as a special deputy with all of his experience. We were incredibly glad to have him.
Chief, is the person who hit the deputy the father of the person who shot yesterday?
Yes.
Next question.
Do you know what the make of the vehicle was that was involved in the incident?
I do not know at this time.
Will there be a procession? Sure.
Yes, we will have a procession. I can tell the public and all of law enforcement out there that our deputy will not be alone. He is not alone. He will not be alone. There will be someone with him until the day that he transitions to higher ground. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Real quick, I do want one last comment. So this community, not just the law enforcement community, but this community in our city, in our county, has had 2 critical incidents in 2 days. I do have a plea to everybody. Let the processes play out. Let the investigations play out. Keep calm, take care of one another, and I can assure you, as the chief of police for Cincinnati, I will ensure you transparency and a thorough and accurate investigation. Thank you.
I bet. All right, you guys. So when she says that, when she comes back in with that final piece that she needs to bring in, I feel like she said that because there has
38-year-old man
been
is now
a bit of outrage, right? There's been outrage with the fact that this black boy was killed by the police. So people are definitely going to be upset, especially when individuals hear that somebody was running away from the scene. They don't feel like that's grounds for you to just shoot a person, period, or whatever the case is, you know. And some people may feel, you know, differently about that. Like, well, at the end of the day, you're committing a crime, right? But I don't know if he was or wasn't, right? We have to see. And that's part of why she says, let the process play out. Like, instead of taking matters into your own hands, like, you know, all of the details and resulting in killing officers, you know what I'm saying? Then just let the process play out. And before the officers themselves try to retaliate against this man who literally just had his son taken away from him, okay, 24 hours before, you know, y'all need to hold what you got. All right. Some people feel like, hey, this is an eye for an eye type situation. I've been seeing people comment on this, you know, on social media, and they're like, listen, this is eye for an eye. You know, we're getting fed up, right? You guys won't get it until we start taking out your people. So it's just, girl, this is a lot. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on over there down to the Washington, D.C. Okay, it's a lot going on. We just had a situation with Carmelo Anthony and the young man that was unalived, you know, the twin, and I'm so sorry I can't think of his name at this moment, but the track stars down there in Houston, or no, it wasn't Houston, but it was in Texas. And then we have this situation. Like, it's so much going on. It's so much going. It's just too much. And a lot of conversation is starting to happen around this, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts and whether you feel like some people feel, which is, you know, no, like, wrong is wrong. Just because your son died, and I understand you may not like the circumstances, but how do you put yourself in a situation and not be able to fully get the justice that you need? Now your family is having to mourn 2 situations of not having, you know, your son, and now they've lost you. Right. So you just put your family through a lot. So I want to know if you're on that side with it, or if you're on the side of no. Officers have to learn how to handle situations, you know, and just because you're unable to capture a person at that particular time who you feel is a suspect, that does not give you the right to kill them. So you guys are going to keep on doing this until people start unaliving you all. You know, so it's eye for an eye, free that man. You know, that's stuff that I've been seeing literally over there on Twitter. So let me know what side you guys are on with this situation. You know, I'm also on the side of, hey, let this play out primarily. Okay. You may be like that too. Just let this whole situation play out, you know. As you know, the woman said, like, we got to just let the process do exactly what it's supposed to do. There was another clip that I want us to get into before we get into him making an appearance before the judge, because he does make an appearance before the judge. So let me see exactly which one this is. So let's get into this story here.
38-year-old man is now charged with aggravated murder after police say he purposely crashed his car into a sheriff's deputy today, killing him.
Yeah, we know that the man's name is Rodney Hinton Jr. and the father, by the way, of an 18-year-old shot and killed by Cincinnati police in East Price Hill yesterday. WLWT News 5's Sean McKinnon breaking down that connection between 2 deadly incidents involving police on back-to-back days. Sean.
All afternoon today, Cincinnati police and the sheriff's department were intensely monitoring the situation here at the hospital. We asked the chief about the direct ties between these 2 deaths and the family relationship yesterday's victim has with today's suspect.
At these East Price Hill condos Thursday morning, Cincinnati officers tracked down a stolen vehicle.
As you know, we had a critical incident yesterday.
4 people get out and start running. In body cam footage released today, in just 6 seconds, police say 18-year-old Ryan Hinton aims his gun at officers. He's got a gun! Police shoot and...
Gotcha. So they're saying that and I'm so glad I clicked on this video because, you know, that was one of my questions about whether or not he actually aimed at the officers, okay? So...
aims his gun at officers. He's got a gun! With today's suspect.
Let's go back.
At these East Price Hill condos Thursday morning, Cincinnati officers tracked down a stolen vehicle.
As you know, we had a critical incident yesterday.
4 people get out and start running. In body cam footage released today, in just 6 seconds, police say 18-year-old Ryan Hinton aims his gun at officers. He's got a gun! Police shoot and kill him.
Okay, so then that is also a part where, one, this answered 2 questions. One, I was wondering if he was connected to the vehicle, and what they're saying is that they got out of the vehicle. So it seems like they were in the vehicle, they got out of the vehicle and just start running, okay? So it sounds like he was a part of that. Right. And of course, those facts would still need to be proven in court should the family get a chance to take this to trial or whatever the case is, right, to get some form of justice. And that's one. The other one is also about the gun. Right. So one, I don't know if that's actually true that he got out of the vehicle, that he was in that vehicle and they got out of a if that was the vehicle they got out of, the actual stolen vehicle. And also whether or not he actually aimed at them. Right? Or whether he just had it but didn't aim. Not necessarily sure, but this is what's being reported.
Today on MLK Drive, a deputy is working traffic control for UC graduation when a driver crashes into him.
There is a connection between these 2 incidents. The driver of today's vehicle that struck a deputy has a family relationship with the 18-year-old that we shot yesterday.
Chief, is the person who hit the deputy the father of the person who was shot yesterday?
Yes.
Ryan Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton, is charged with aggravated murder in the deputy's death. He was taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Hours later, the Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy dies. The CPD homicide unit investigating both the death of the deputy killed today and the death of the 18-year-old shot by police.
I can assure you, as the chief of police for Cincinnati, I will ensure you transparency and a thorough and accurate investigation. Thank you.
Multiple guns and extended magazines were recovered in East Price Hill yesterday. An 18 and 19-year-old were in court today facing charges in that incident. A 4th person is wanted. None of the officers' names have been released. Reporting from UC Medical Center.
All right, y'all. So that's part of the details there. So it seems like the sign, you know, based on how it's being reported and if it's being reported honestly and truthfully, it seems like the son was involved in some capacity, did have a gun, got out of a stolen vehicle. All right. But also, even with all of that, I don't know if it was warranted to shoot him unless he was posing a threat back to them by trying to shoot at them. Right. So those are the things where I feel like when she says let things play out, you got to just let it play out, because then you'll get additional facts to find out what all was really happening, you know, at that scene. Okay. And maybe you guys could have potentially found some evidence to show maybe they were wrong, potentially. Who knows? And then maybe they will owe you guys a ton of money, potentially. But unfortunately, it's just not looking good, you know, for the family, because then the dad goes and he decides to take out one of the deputies. But we're going to get into him because, you know, he does make an appearance in court. And why they got all these officers in this courtroom, baby? I guess that's how they show up, okay? When one of theirs is, you know, harmed in some capacity or taken out, maybe this is how they show up. But let's check it out.
The separate session of the Hamilton County Municipal Court is now in session. Judge Tyrone Yates is presiding this morning. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
This is such a terrible situation.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, this is horrible.
First case will absolutely run the answer. Okay, thank you.
Across the board.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning. He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anything as to probable cause?
Your Honor, we'll waive probable cause this morning. I have submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bignell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Mintons' case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, or anything as to bond?
As to bond, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Minton is facing. He has a risk, but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. His risk assessment score was a 1. He had no juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. Purcell Marion. I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation.
I can't take.
I understand that Mr. Minton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video. I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large. And we'll just ask court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything to allow the our constitutional process to play out.
All right, thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right this morning? All right, the court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state through the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution.
Could you give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe it would be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue at MLK, I believe at Burnett Woods, at the intersection, I believe immediately north to the rear entrance of the University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, and lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no-bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025, that'll be next Tuesday.
Whew, so that is part of what you guys see. I do want to get a video up here. I do believe he was given no bond from my understanding. I believe that the judge granted him no bond at this time until he has a hearing. I do believe that hearing is going to be on this week. I believe it's supposed to be a Thursday or something. From what I looked up. So I hate that that was cut so short, but there is a video I wanted us to get into over here on Twitter. Is this one? Is this it? As he's leaving, it seems like he may be. Let me see if there's any music to this.
Man, that bitch think she.
Okay, yeah. So there's music, but we won't listen to the music, but we'll get into the video, and I'll actually slow the video down just a bit so that we can check it out, okay? So it looked like he might be taunting the officers, all right? They said they really try to use over 30 deputies to intimidate Rodney Hinton, but he kept his head up. Okay? So as she is escorting him out, he's walking, he's looking at them, head up, making a face like, yeah. Yeah, he nodding his head, saying some things to the people. Ooh, child, this is crazy here because everybody, listen, don't be playing about their kids. Some people do react in this way. I understand he's a grieving father. Things could have definitely took a different turn, but whew, this is where he is. I want to get into some of the reactions of what people are saying. Somebody says crackers, cops all look the same. Somebody says, laugh my ass off. He didn't even kill the dude who killed his son. He just ran over some rent-a-cop who was directing traffic. I don't think that man was a rent-a-cop that was directing traffic, but anywho. Now his son dead and his life is effed up. Why are we celebrating this as black people? Bro is a coward that couldn't control his emotions. Someone says this is so effing powerful. Wow. Horrible circumstance, but powerful. Someone says this is the black excellence that we need right now. Someone says glasses love her job. Whoever that is, glasses love her job. Someone says free him. Someone says standing on all 10. Someone says revenge is the most highs. But if you gonna do it, I don't know. I guess he's saying go out like this. Someone says, now, I don't condone killing the cop who ain't killed his son, right? Someone says, I do, however, commend his ability to walk through staring all those officers down. Much respect. Ooh, he is not ashamed of his actions, and it seems like he does not care about being in jail for the rest of his life. All right. As a father, a man that is married, he is, I guess you took my son. What else is there? I don't know. I thought he had other children to live for, but hey, y'all got to leave your thoughts about this now. Someone says, win, lose, or draw, he stood on what he felt was right. He doesn't look like he fears the consequences. Someone says, the days where y'all murder black men with the police are over. Some of those are just murder. It's not justice. It's not the police being in the right. It's just murder. We aren't your slaves anymore. Y'all be locking up people over commercial and victimless crimes. All right. Someone says Team Rodney. Somebody says that bald BIT mugging him like he can't got too. Police have been killing black people without repercussions for too long. All right. Somebody says good. Officers think they can just keep killing us and getting away with it. They're the reason they lost their deputy. The police shot and killed this man's 18-year-old son, lied and said he pointed a gun at them, but it's not on the body cam footage. Try and see. I don't know. This is my first time reading these things, and that is a question that I have. And again, anybody representing him or just in the course, anybody that's going to be defending the opposing party, if it were to go to court like that, right? Which at this point, I don't even know if it would or would not, if the family is trying to get justice, which they may not get because they may feel like this is justice. I don't know. But all in all, on either side, these are details, whether you're on the defendant or the prosecutor, whatever it is, you're going to need to know these details, whether what happened. Right? These are going to be questions asked on both sides so that they can properly represent the case. What it means to stand in business for yours. They're definitely going to mistreat him in prison. I hope he stays safe. All right. So that is what some of the people are saying. Okay. And now it's time for you guys to leave your thoughts and comments down below regarding the matter at hand. That's all that I have for you guys at this particular time. But definitely leave your thoughts. I'm Jami, that's me. Feel free to like up this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and follow me on social media at Jami, that's me. All right. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM. And the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF. Got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over. I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man? They say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film. I can